to The Dan Show, starring Dan Whalen.
Hey guys, welcome back to my show where we talk about all things movies, TV shows, and cigars. And today we're going to be in a continuation of the one I did 2 weeks ago. Sorry I didn't make a video last week. Last week was kind of a nightmare. Last week was busy as hell, and I apologize, but I'm getting right back on the bandwagon. But this video is going to be a continuation of The Lord of the Rings and The Two Towers. Before we get started, if you could please like and subscribe to my YouTube channel, definitely helps me out. Stay tuned for more videos. So clearly this is the second movie of the Lord of the Rings trilogy. We already did the Fellowship of the Ring. Now we're going to be doing the Two Towers, which means next week I'll be doing the Return of the King, which is probably my second favorite of the franchise. This one, The Two Towers, is definitely my favorite, and here's why. So it is an immediate continuation of the first movie. So if you've seen the first movie, it ends with Frodo and Sam going their own direction. Aragorn, Legolas, and Gimli, they end up going after the Uruk-hai who took Pippin and Merry. And that's exactly where it starts off. Like, literally, they're running around, they're trying to catch up to the Uruk-hai, and they're running through the land of Rohan, which is like, oh my god. The entire scenery of Rohan is just like, give me a chair and a cigar, plop me in any spot, and just leave me there. Honestly, it's beautiful. Rohan is fantastic. I love it. It's beautiful. I actually really like the Riders of Rohan, and they mainly focus on Riders of Rohan in this movie. I would say the third movie they focus more on Minas Tirith, which is the kind of where Aragorn, I mean, spoiler alert, is where he becomes the king, essentially. But this one's definitely my favorite. I definitely like the character development in kind of all of them. Like, this movie is probably the prime definition of, like, they are hopeless. Like, the entire movie is so, like everyone's, like, mopey and hopeless, and nobody has, like, faith that they're gonna survive this, you know? And in this movie, it almost kind of seems like the bad guys win, or they're winning, like, by a long shot, you know? And then, so here's the deal, though, like, it's, like, they end up, so we're gonna jump into where, like, Frodo and Sam are. Frodo and Sam are completely lost. They have no idea where they're going, and like I said, the prime point of this whole trilogy is to get this little ring all the way to Mordor to destroy it so that the king or the Dark Lord Sauron can't, you know, come alive again or can't take over the world like he was supposed to back in the day, whatever. But all in all, like, this one's definitely my favorite because, like, I definitely like that, like, at the end of the movie, it all kind of, like, they kind of have, like a little glimmer of hope and inspiration where they're like, holy crap, we actually might have a chance on beating these orcs and these Uruk-hai and the Dark Lord Sauron, you know, whatever. It's like, I don't know, like, this movie's definitely my favorite because of, like I said, the character development. Everyone's kind of, like, hopeless, but at the end, they all kind of, like, band together to create, like, this huge, amazing alliance between Rohan and, Gondor and everything. They kind of eventually become one, but you'll find out more about that in the third movie. But I'm going to say it, I love the Helm's Deep War in this movie. Something about it, like, I love I love when the elves show up. The elves are, I think, like, probably the coolest part of the movie is when they literally march into Helm's Deep's gates, and, you know, like, they're talking, and they are just so in sync with, like, everything they do. I think it's amazing. I think it's cool as hell. And, like I said, like, if you haven't seen these movies, I would really recommend these movies. Seriously. Like, the franchise literally came out in the early 2000s, and still to this day, they are heavily and huge, and they are very, very popular, so I would definitely recommend these movies to just about anyone. But I'll tell you what, like I said, just the character development's amazing. Like, so Rohan has this king. His name is King Theoden, and he's under a spell of some sorts. Like, he's under a spell by Saruman, which is the other wizard that, Gandalf fought in the first movie. And he ends up just kind of he just ends up breaking bad. He just becomes a bad guy. He kind of just sees it as like, hey, we must join Sauron because there's no other option, which is wrong, apparently. Like, they don't believe in that, or at least Gandalf didn't. But Gandalf, then in this movie, comes back as Gandalf the White, which is a far more powerful wizard than Gandalf the Grey, who was pretty much him in the first movie. Now, if you know the lore of the Lord of the Rings, like, you kind of understand that Gandalf actually comes back as Saruman, who is meant to be, like, Saruman's meant to be the one that kind of saves the world. Saruman goes kind of, again, he goes Breaking Bad, he just turns bad. So that means when Gandalf dies after fighting the Balrog in the first movie, he comes back as Gandalf the White to essentially do what Saruman's job was, which is pretty much side with humanity and figure out how to win and blah blah blah, whatever. But like Gandalf in this movie is like twice as more powerful as he was in the first one. If you thought he was OP in the first one, this one he is super OP in this one. But all in all, like Gandalf's a badass. Gandalf is freaking cool. Like he's like literally the guy you always typically want on your side. He just knows the answer to everything. He knows how to do pretty much everything. He is definitely a hardcore ally, and you really see that in this movie. So pretty much everyone in this movie is essentially everyone's level up to the third movie. Which, I can't wait to get into the third movie. I think the third movie is going to be fun to talk about. But like I said, this one's definitely my favorite. Just because I like that everyone literally upgrades in this movie. Like Aragorn, he becomes more of a leader that you actually see him lead an army in this movie, which is in Helm's Deep. Legolas and Gimli, they become like really close as friends. Like I love their number counting every time they're killing like the orcs on Helm's Deep. Like he turns at Gimli turns at Legolas and goes, "Hey man, I already got 2," and Legolas is like, "I'm on 17," and then they go like, "Oh shit," and then Gimli's like, "Oh hell no, like you're not passing me on this one." But like I said, I love the character development in this one. Everyone, like I said, upgrades. Like they go from here to there. But Frodo and Sam, they're kind of like I said, I kind of veered off a little bit, but they're on their own little path, and they're on the most important path, mind you, because like I said, they're the one holding the one thing that these evil creatures are looking for in Saruman or Sauron, whichever one, whoever catches it, like it's over. Like that is the end of the war. That's the end of humanity, essentially. If we're talking about like how this really kind of rolls out. So, but like I said, the movie is really good. I really like it, and the thing is, like, we're introduced in this movie to a character called Faramir, who you'll learn more about him in the third one, and you actually go to understand that in the first movie there was a character named Boromir who was actually a part of the companions, like of the Fellowship of the Ring, one of the 9 companions. He's actually the one that dies at the end of the first one. So Boromir and Faramir, which is introduced in this movie, they're actually brothers. Spoiler alert, well, there you go, whatever. But I actually really kind of feel bad for Faramir because he's a great fighter, but he's always was, if you kind of watch the extended editions of these movies, you go to kind of understand that he's like more of like the shadow of his brother. Which is kind of sad, but like, because you're introduced to his father in the extended editions, but if you don't have the extended edition of the Two Towers, you have no idea who Denethor is until you get to the third movie, which Denethor is just kind of a scumbag. He's just kind of an ass. He's like the hand of the king who's no longer there, but he's kind of just a dick. Like, yeah, you gotta watch it. You'll understand what I'm talking about. I think he kind of gets what he gets. Like, whatever happens to him, which is in the third one, he kind of has it coming to him, but, like, we'll get to that later. But, all in all, like I said, Faramir is a cool character. Like I said, he's always in the shadow of his brother Boromir. But Faramir is kind of like this, I think he's perfectly capable. Like, he's actually, like, he's a commander, he's like a general kind of thing, whatever. He's kind of good at what he does, but he's always just second best to his brother who's now dead. It kind of sucks, whatever. But all in all, like I said, like, he kind of starts off bad. Like, he actually kind of starts off as like a problem for Frodo and Sam, and then they end up getting under attack. I can't remember the name of the city, Athelion or something like that. Anyway, but like it's kind of like already a ruined city that's now under attack, and they're trying to save it, and they actually have to make their way back to Gondor, which is like probably like a mile away. If you're looking at statistics or looking at a map, it looks like about a mile away. But all in all, like, I really like this one. This one's definitely my favorite. Like, I could talk all day about the freaking Helm's Deep War. Like, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's a guy thing or what, but something about, like, tens of thousands of people or orcs or whatever just marching in a sync like line. I don't know why, but I just think it's cool. And like you definitely see it in this movie. Like they're so outnumbered. Like I think Legolas says, he's like, it's literally 300 versus 10,000 Uruk-hai. And Uruk-hai are like the tougher, bigger, monstrous versions of what orcs are. And that's kind of like where, like, you're really like, dude, they're screwed. Like, they are so screwed. Like, it's not even a joke. Like, they are literally just, they're screwed. You know what I mean? Like, 300 versus 10,000, they're outnumbered like 1,000,000 to 1. You know what I mean? But that's when you kind of see the elves show up. The elves just kind of show up. Like, no warning, no whatever. They just kind of show up and they're like, hey, we heard that this was happening and we want to fight side by side with you guys one more time. And that is exactly what happens. And that is when you get the most epic war scene, war anything, in any Lord of the Rings movie, period. I absolutely love the war. Like, everything about it, like, it goes from this hopeless, like, we don't stand a chance to, oh my god, there's actually hope now. And there's something about that that's just uplifting, powerful. And I mean, they do kind of semi get their butts kicked, but they do end up winning the war because Gandalf rides off kind of right before the war to get reinforcements, which he comes back with it. He really does. And like I said, I would highly recommend this movie. This one's definitely my favorite. Like, I'm going to say it. Like, I'm not going to rank this one because I keep saying it's my favorite, and like, honestly, I really don't think you can rank these because they're all incredibly good. I'll tell you the truth, I don't know anybody, I've never met a person that does not like this franchise. Let me know in the comment section what you think. Like I said, I'm a huge Lord of the Rings fan. I have the ring somewhere. I have Aragorn's sword somewhere. It's all packed away, but whatever, but I do have it. But all in all, like, I love this franchise. This franchise it's like almost nostalgic. You know, every time I watch it, I kind of feel like a kid. And here's a little story about this one. I remember being in first grade, and I know, right? Anyway, like literally, and I remember I was in the middle of my classroom, and then I got the intercom like called my name to the office, saying that I'm getting ready to leave, and I was like, oh hell yeah, being a kid, that's like the greatest day of your life. It was a Friday. You're like, oh crap, yeah, I'm leaving early. So I go there, and my mom's sitting at the office, and she's like, all right, let's go. And I swear to God, I wish she was here, and I can confirm it eventually, but she literally picked me and my brother up from the same school so we could go see Lord of the Rings in theaters. And I'm like, oh my god. And I remember watching this movie as a kid, which you would think probably for a first grade it's a little violent, but kids and people were tougher then, I guess. I don't know. Kids today, I'm not getting into it, whatever. But like, all in all, like, I love this movie. This movie was fantastic to watch. It was visually pleasing. I also really like that none of it is, like, some of it is CGI, but I prefer the makeup. Like, I like the makeup that the orcs have, that the elves have. It looks more real. It's practical. It looks legit. It doesn't look fake. And I think that's what I really liked about the first Lord of the Rings series, like 1, 2, and 3, the Two Towers, all them, because when you kind of get to The Hobbit, which I have not decided if I'm getting into the Hobbit movies yet, you see a lot more of the CGI involved, and it kind of turns me off, man. I just, don't really care for it, whatever. But, like I said, I haven't decided if I'm going to go over those yet, whatever. But anyway, like I said, I love the Two Towers. I think the Two Towers is my favorite in the franchise. Let me know what yours is in the franchise. Write in the comment section what yours is in the franchise, because like I said, I absolutely love this movie. This one is definitely my favorite. And like I said, I just like the whole, it starts off as they are completely screwed, and then throughout the movie, they get more and more hope on their side, and they end up actually potentially standing a chance against this evil that is taking over Middle Earth. And like I said, there's something about it. I just really like it. I'm a very positive guy. I like uplifting. I like to make things feel better. I like to inspire hope myself, and that's what I probably really got out of this movie. But the third movie, a lot of that kind of transitions, but they end up winning in the end, and I'll talk more about that in the next video. So thank you guys for watching my videos. Please like and subscribe again. I would really appreciate that, and make sure you guys always remember, and I'm going to just keep reminding you every time you watch one of my videos, is to always have a fantastic day.